25 green flag laps is the distance, and 5. 5th is the transfer spot. Everybody behind that goes to the last chance qualifier.
I don't know about you guys. I'm just excited we're back racing. This is so cool coming here to LA to this historic Coliseum. Finally get to see race cars on the racetrack after a long winter.
Last year, NASCAR raced here into the unknown. The 7th generation car was brand new. Now they've had a year of experience, and we're ready to go green in heat one.
Great jump for Almirola on the outside. Now he's going to have to try to pinch him down, Tony. Take that line away. If he doesn't, he needs to get in line, settled in early. Oh, you see Logano into the back of Noah Gragson already.
Bowman slid up into Burton, so that gives the front two some separation. Almirola
there he is moving down.
In.
Yep, that's exactly what he needed to do. If he can't get it done early, you have a lap, maybe 2, and then you're in trouble. You better get in line.
Noah Gragson in the transfer spot, 5th in the 42, and around goes Burton.
Roll when you can.
Yellow flag.
You saw it coming. He was holding that line up. We talked about it. There's just no time. They laid the bumper to him and moved him out of the way.
Second-year driver Harrison Burton was 4th.
His car, Tony, just seemed like he was up on top of the racetrack, slipping and sliding around. His, obviously the tires hadn't come in yet. You can see them all stacking up.
And it actually started 2 cars. It was the car behind Noah that got it started with Chris Buescher.
And the 22 was on his bumper.
Which one of those 3 guys do you blame now?
All of them.
All of them.
Yeah. You got wrecked by 3 different guys.
That's not the last time we're going to see this during the course of the day.
And no damage to the Burton car except maybe a flat spotted tire, so he will be able to continue. And we have 2 laps complete.
Quite a bit of damage in front of Harrison Burton. On this short track like this, though, if you're not worried about aero, again, hats off to this new car, the composite body. So many times these guys can beat and bang on one another, and a racetrack like this, that's no harm, no foul. A little bit of ouchie on the front of it's not going to notice one bit.
So Burton spinning around, that will move the 42 of Gragson up 1 notch, along with Buescher and Logano. Gragson will be in the transfer spot when we restart.
Very impressed with Justin Haley. Car takes off good. It was fast yesterday in practice. He was good here a year ago. The 10 of Almirola, he looked to me like he was needing that thing to come in. He's really working his tires hard, Tony, trying to get it going because the 48 is on him hard.
Yeah, and it looked like the 31 car of Justin took just a couple laps to get those fronts to come in. Like we talked about, when they pulled on the racetrack, they were spinning the rears. The front tires take longer than the rear tires to come in.
Now they'll be given the signal to choose lanes. Each driver gets to choose inside or outside, and Almirola follows Haley to the inside. That opens up the outside of the front row for Bowman. Otherwise, things kind of predictable. Odd, even, odd, even.
Pretty predictable up front. Back there where you see Joey Logano, 5th, 6th place land, that's where you get an opportunity to get to the outside like he chose, try to pin him down and take advantage of somebody getting hung up on the bottom.
And those guys that took the outside, they know that's not the preferred line. But if anybody has a mistake on the bottom or gets loose on the exit and creates a hole, then you can get down and get right back in line. So these guys that went to the outside, they're not trying to stay there. That's not the line they want to work, but you're going to go advance as far forward as you can to try to get every opportunity.
Right. In Alex Bowman's case, in the 48, when he came to the choose line, his choices were 2nd or 5th, 1st row or 3rd row.
Easy math.
Basically only one shift on a restart. Starting 1st, they run these cars in 2nd.
Green flag. Now what can Bowman do from the outside?
He's trying to pinch him down. If he gets him loose up off the corner, now look. Got Eric looking to the inside. That's exactly what, there. Got him loose again. If he breaks loose one more time, you've got the spot. If not, look, Almirola's already got that the hole filled. Now you're going to end up 3rd.
Now if Bowman in the 48 can't get in line, this is going to be a long ride on the outside.
That's the risk of restarting on the outside, is that you don't get a hole. Somebody makes a mistake on the inside, you can capitalize. If not, you got to fight for your spot to get back down.
There's room in front of Logano, but no, Bowman is hanging tough.
Right
now
there.
He gets it.
His spotter was working with him, letting him know how far Logano is. There's still a gap. Give it up. Get in line. You can't afford to be. You don't want to be in that 4th or 5th place, because you know at the closing laps of this heat race, that's where the melee is going to happen.
Logano in the 22 is 5th. That is the final transfer spot to the main event. Noah Gregson.
Yeah, we're going to get around him.
Gregson running 3rd in the 42. He started 6th, and it's his first time in the clash.
You see them all the way down on the rumble strips already. All 4 tires. Alex Bowman is up in the exit of the corners.
And we saw that in practice yesterday. They all started above the line. Then they started creeping the left side tires just below it. Today, you are going to see these guys all the way down to those jersey barriers.
There he is.
Side.
Put the bumper to Gregson. He's underneath of him for 3rd. That's all it takes. He got down there, found that line
Clear.
before Noah Gregson did, and was able to capitalize to take advantage.
And these guys hitting each other like this, they're not necessarily trying to knock somebody out of the way, but you will sit there and consistently you can kind of antagonize them and try to get them to overdrive their car to where you try to make them make the mistake versus you making it for them.
But I like what Justin Haley's doing from the lead. He's letting off the gas early going into the corner so he can roll the corner and be first back to the throttle, get back to the gas before Almirola, and keep the front bumper of that number 10 away from the rear bumper of his Chevy.
I see the tire pressures coming up. You heard Tony talk about it, trying to get some heat, some temperature built in there, letting the pressures come up. Now the 10 car is really coming on strong.
Almirola and Bowman both in position to do what they could not do last year, and that's transfer into the main event here.
Is he going to put the bumper to him, Tony?
I certainly hope so. I'll be selfish on this one, but right now the big thing is don't do anything that's going to take you out of those top 5 spots. He's in a good position in this heat race. Obviously, you would love to get that spot. It's worth 4 more for the start of the main event, but the most important thing is make sure you make the show and don't create a mistake that takes you out of that opportunity.
It'll be 8 to go when they come to the stripe here, and that time Almirola had a snootful of rear bumper of the 31 down
48.
in turns 3 and 4.
Alex Bowman's coming on. You saw that last year. You had cars that would really take off and cars that you know would be good on a long run.
Gregson had a problem in 1 and 2. Logano's pounced and got to the inside of him, and now gives him a boot in 3. 4th place may change hands here.
See, he's holding him up.
Leaders. Almirola's there.
Watch this. Maybe it is it. Man, I thought Alex Bowman was going to look to the inside, make it 3 wide.
He was definitely looking at it. He just chose not to make that a situation that could jeopardize all 3 of them.
5 to go. It's heating up for the lead, and that transfer position.
34, Michael McDowell, 1 spot away from transferring into the feature.
This is really the one that counts. Another reason that counts, Joey Logano is the only one that's guaranteed a provisional. If McDowell is able to knock him out of this position and take that takes the provisional position away from somebody that may need it later on in one of these heat races. There's a lot of drivers and teams that are wanting that 22 to make it.
2 to go. Logano, McDowell, one of them will probably be in the main event, and the other will have to run the 50-lap last chance qualifier. White flag this time, 1 lap.
White flag, 1 to go.
Eric Almirola missed the show last year. He and Alex Bowman are going to 1-2 this first qualifying heat. Pole sitter Justin Haley 3rd. Rookie Noah Gregson 4th. And defending winner Joey Logano 5th. Those are the 5 transfer cars.
I saw a lot of movement in that race, Tony. I saw a lot of takeoff speed, cars that were, struggling to take off. You'll see their teammates. They're all watching these. All these guys have teammates, and they're going to be listening to their comments and making air pressure adjustments so they can be ready for their heat race.
Yeah, I guarantee the crew chiefs were the one that were really paying attention to the first 5 to 10 laps of that first heat, just to see how quick these guys were taking off. I bet there's a lot of air pressure adjustments going on right now, last minute.
I like what Justin Haley did when he got bounced out of the lead. Instead of battling side by side, where's the first hole I can get into? Third spot was it, and he's going to transfer. Now the heats are lined up based on qualifying times from yesterday, and this heat is packed with superstars and champions. Teammates will start on the pole. New teammates, Kyle Busch and Austin Dillon from RCR. Kyle Larson, Kevin Harvick, Ricky Stenhouse, Martin Truex Jr., a past champ, Austin Cindric, the Daytona winner, Chase Elliott, a past champion, and BJ McLeod, and only 5 will qualify.
Hey, we always talk stacked heat races. This is the stacked heat race.
Yeah, when we got the lineups, I was looking at all 4 heat races. I said, the first heat's the one that I wanted to be in if I had the option. This is the heat race you do not want to be in because you've got a lot of talent and a lot of really good short track racers that are in this heat race.
You think Richard Childress is looking down on his new team, liking what he sees? He plugged that driver in there, and it's working just like you see it on paper. Now, not one, but both of his cars on the front row of a heat, the first race out of the box.
Now, if this were a super speedway, there might be a deal for Busch to ease off and let Dillon in front of him. But not here.
No chance.
Did you say that Kyle Busch would ease off and let a teammate around?
It's a new Kyle Busch. 5 past champions in this heat as we go green.
Off outside quarter. Outside quarter. 1 back 5.
Wow.
Still clear. Half back bottom. Still clear. Half back bottom. By 1 to 2 by 2. 5 closest to you.
Larson pops out in second. Dillon cannot get to the inside. Here comes Stenhouse. Roughs him up a little for third. 3 wide into the corner.
It's a big dive bomb on Austin Cindric. Put Chase Elliott in the wall off of 4. Hey, Austin Dillon already fell clear back to a transfer position.
Now he and Stenhouse get together. Truex and Stenhouse together.
Don't sleep on Truex. Very fast in practice. A look for this car to head straight to the front of this heat race.
And literally to be able to be on the inside fighting for third from a 6th place starting spot in 4 laps, super impressive. He was fast in every session yesterday.
Keep an eye on Cindric when he gets to Austin Dillon. He's 1 spot away from a qualifying position. And last year, in Cindric's first appearance in the Clash, he was super aggressive down on the inside, dive bombing into corners. Now it's Stenhouse that falls to the final transfer spot. 5th for the 47.
Kind of get through the chaos of the start. Now everything settles in. Now we're just going to see these one-on-one battles while they're strung out like this.
Here's how Austin Dillon got past Ricky Stenhouse.
Certainly one way to do it.
But in all fairness, that's also how he lost the spot.
Yeah, it certainly makes that decision a lot easier when you're paying it back.
Definitely.
Kevin Harvick's in trouble. He's going to have to get his car going. It just did not take off very well for him at all. He's had left front wheel lock up, having a lot of trouble finding grip with his car.
Yeah, he's in 8th place. Chase Elliott in the 9 used him up down in turns 1 and 2 to get by.
15 to go.
That's very important information. That's something that seems pretty easy to keep track of, but on this tight race like this, your hands are full, you're thinking about the line, you're trying to adjust your driving style for the way your car's driving. You don't have time to know where you're at in this race.
Top speed end of straightaway over 80 miles an hour. Mid-corner speed less than 40 miles an hour.
And looking at the lap times, Martin Truex is the fastest car on the racetrack right now in this heat.
He's in 3rd behind Kyle Larson. They're in orange and black. Inside Larson for second place.
I think that was a heads-up move by Kyle Larson. I think he gave him the spot. Knew he was going to be probably feeling him on his rear bumper soon anyway. Thought better of it and let him go.
Well, it's all risk versus reward. Every decision you're making, you're sitting there trying to figure out, is it the right decision? He just eases up here. Martin clips him a little bit just because he didn't have time to get down, but very savvy move. That's a veteran move.
And here's Truex now about to challenge his former teammate, Kyle Busch, for the lead. Lap car BJ McLeod stays way up high, out of the way, as the leaders roll past.
Pass for the lead.
2 by 10.
He's under him. Truex to the point. Oh, cross back over. Kyle Busch. That was awesome.
Even, still just you 2 by 5.
Now we got a race, Tony.
And I love that they can do this
Checking up
without
with the crossover,
contact.
next bottom,
Yes.
bumper, clear, cross it back over, bumper.
This is the classic slide job dirt race right here. Slide him, turns back under, beats you the other end, and just keep doing it until you finally get him cleared. He needs to hold him out one more time. Not there. Now he's got it.
Truex to first, Busch second, Larson third, and a car is spun at turn 4. That is Austin Cindric. He had help, let's say, from Kevin Harvick.
Out of time. Two things. He was out of time, and Kevin Harvick needed a caution. He just created one.
Well, that, and when we were here last year, Austin was very aggressive on the entry to the corner, which was great and helped.
Now, this was earlier.
Kind of took advantage of Kevin catching BJ McLeod, the lap car.
And here's where that favor got repaid.
Again, makes that decision a little easier when it comes back around, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the midfield here, because Stenhouse is 5th in the 47. Chase Elliott is 6th, and Kevin Harvick is 7th. If you finish this race in 6th, you're on the pole for last chance qualifier number 2.
You don't want to be in that.
You'd be further back.
You want to be 5th in this.
Absolutely.
Go on to the dance.
Jamie.
That dance gets ugly.
Well, what a difference a year makes. 1 year ago, Eric Almirola missed the feature. This time, you've been the fastest man. You're going to start on the pole for the feature. What made the difference today?
A year of learning. Yeah, we came to this race a year ago and really had no idea what to expect. And the setup in the car, you know, a year later is so much different. Me having way more knowledge about the car and just a better understanding and, you know, being more prepared. You know, there was no way to be prepared a year ago. So, yeah, great start. Smithfield Ford Mustang is really fast, and it was really, really disappointing to watch this race from the grandstands last year. So this year we get to lead the field to the green. So great starting spot. Obviously, track position is important. So it should be a fun night. Well done.
Mike?
On the choose, Kyle Busch chose the inside as Almirola did, so he will restart behind Truex. But that 2 of Austin Cindric,
yes,
he came up the outside. He is going to make the show or be the show, one or the other.
Absolutely. You think he was a thorn in Kevin's side last time? Now he is again. Now he's ahead of him again. I love the choose cone rule for tracks like this.
Don't miss the premiere of the new comedy Animal Control, starring Tony Stewart's menagerie, bears, pythons, kangaroos, and Joel McHale. Animal Control Thursday, February 16th on Fox. Green flag.
5-lap shootout. How bad do you want to be in this race?
Oh! The 9 drove straight into Cindric. I mean, straight, never turned the wheel, and the 2 went around. Never mind, we're still green. And Harvick goes for a big slide at turn 2.
Well, that's the second time that he had pushed Chase Elliott up high off of 4, so kind of saw that one coming.
Truex, Busch, Dillon, Larson, Stenhouse. The 47 is the transfer spot. The 9, though, is right there with him.
2 to go. This battle for the transfer spot is picking up.
Elliott's going to have one chance as they come to the white flag at each end.
Stenhouse cannot get in the corner. He's locking that wheel up now. Chase Elliott is underneath of him.
And Harvick gives him a boot. Yeah.
One more spot. Stenhouse going to pay it back.
One more corner. There's the bump. Here comes Harvick. Harvick inside. Harvick with a drive up. Harvick gets there.
How about that?
All day long.
Classic being at the right place at the right time.
Good job.
Saw it coming.
Good job.
How about that? I'm not going to take the punch. I'm not going to throw the punch. I'm going to stand back, and when that punch lands, boom, I'm on the throttle and gone. Kevin Harvick. Why have we called him the closer all these years? Because of right there.
You could see this one coming from a mile away.
Big shot there.
Well, now Stenhouse, his only chances to go in and hit him. He had to get in hard enough. He locks the wheels up, opens the door up for Kevin Harvick, and takes the position. 2 for 1.
Green this time by 25 green flag laps. Heat number 3 goes green.
Green flag.
Keep an eye on the 14. This is a car that's been shifting almost every single lap. That's why I think you saw such a good jump. He is one that I think taking advantage of shifting on these can get him up off the corners a little bit faster than the rest.
Well, Reddick took advantage of him in turn 4 and pushes through to 3rd place.
Well, still tight, all single file behind by half now.
2 Toyotas at the front sprint away, and it looks like Hamlin and Bell are not going to harass each other too much. Leave the racing for further back.
And I don't know if anybody recognized when we were coming to green, they actually swapped the front row there. Christopher Bell took the outside, gave Denny the inside, kind of what we see at Daytona and Talladega. As soon as they took the green flag, Denny Hamlin led his teammate back there. That gave him the first 2 spots.
Now he's got to pass him. That's the only thing about this one-off race. You know, I understand that the Daytona 500 where you got 500 miles to sort it out. But for here, it's every man for himself. I want to win this thing for me.
The 12 of Ryan Blaney started last. He's up to 5th as Hamlin goes for the lead.
45, half back on him.
3 Toyotas mixing it up at the front.
Reddick's really good at getting his car rotated right around the wall, even on those rumble strips. You got to realize, even with that, obviously the paint's down there and everything else, but it has to take grip away from the car. You have left surface area on your tires. So what he's able to accomplish down there that low is pretty impressive.
Now the Fords coming to the inside. The 14 of Briscoe and the 12 of Blaney move up to 3rd and 4th.
Keep in mind, Blaney started dead last in this heat race. So he's making moves right now.
Christopher Bell, the number 20 in the transfer spot, with a big advantage, about a second over Todd Gilliland.
I sure thought he was going to be faster than that. I'm sure he is too. I don't know if it's, again, maybe an air pressure thing or something. His car did not take off very good at all.
Bell in 5th, unable to gain ground. His car is extremely loose on throttle, trying to get up off the corner.
He's got a good pad to the 6th place car, which is a transfer spot. So as long as he can just manage that distance, he'll be just fine.
Halfway in this 3rd qualifying heat. Kozlowski trying to muscle his way past Suarez.
These 2 cars have been battling from the drop of the green flag, beating and banging on each other almost every single corner. Somebody's going to have enough here soon. Might be
right here. Right there.
Bumper clear, 3 back, you're good. Just hit your marks, you're good, 3.
Burton and Cindric looking on. I'm sure this is more fun to watch than it is to do.
Well, they're smiling because they know that somebody else is getting mad out there, not them at this moment. So They know what's getting ready to happen.
Denny Hamlin has led make that 12 of 17 laps so far.
Huge turnaround for him.
37 is
Did not
35.
have the race last year that he was looking for at all. Always a force, you know, in this sport, and just struggled last year. All the Gibbs cars pretty strong so far.
Christopher Bell right there, the green car, no pressure for that final transfer spot from Todd Gilliland. And Suarez and Keselowski get into it again in turn 4, and Keselowski's around, caution waves.
Just what we needed.
In that case, they were so far back they would be unable to challenge without a caution flag to bunch the field. So somebody had to go around.
Well, this is what, you know, Gilliland needed. This is what Daniel Suarez needed. Now the choose cone, you know, gives you another breath of hope to be able to try to make something happen, find that transfer position, just like we saw in the last heat race.
That is a classic case of I need this spot worse than you.
Well, it's also, I mean, if I'm Brad Keselowski, I'm not necessarily mad about that, because it just gave me an opportunity to somehow, some way make something happen with 6 laps to go.
And Suarez just making that pass does not help him because he's still 3 seconds back of the transfer spot. Unless the caution comes out, the pass doesn't mean much except one more spot further forward in the last chance qualifier.
Neat that you can have this format of this one-off race. You know, caution laps don't count, just like you talked about earlier. They still have 6 laps to make it happen.
Yep.
I'm coming through.
Half a lap back, we got to make something happen.
Well, that's
exactly right.
Yeah, just moving him out of the way would not accomplish the objective, which is get me in a position where I can transfer.
And it's not necessarily because they feel like, obviously they were in a bad spot track position wise, so speed, they may not have the speed they need, but
here we go. They're choosing.
Something happens in front of them, then they can capitalize on it.
Now that's a familiar sight, the second place car, Reddick, lining up behind the leader in the second row.
And exactly what I was talking about. Look at Daniel Suarez. He is back in a transfer position. If he can somehow, some way crowd Ryan Blaney, get him loose off of 2 and get that position, he just might make it in off of that caution.
Well, I remember a race long ago where Richard Childress called on the radio to Dale Earn. I says, geez, Dale, we really need a caution to get back in this thing. Dale goes, working on it. And about 3 laps later, somebody went around off Earnhardt's bumper. That'll happen in big-time auto racing.
That could have been in a number of races, though.
I believe it was Bristol.
This is a big restart for these guys. You know, Ryan Blaney, Christopher Bell that we've been watching slip and sliding around. Those guys loved what they saw. It was strung out, easy peasy, 6 more laps, no problem, no caution, no caution. Boom, there's the caution. Let's see what happens here.
6 laps to go, green flag. Reddick to the inside, trying to hold off Briscoe. Joey Logano, what are we seeing here?
A slugfest. I haven't watched this heat race. I just got up here, but I know what the first 2 looked like, and I'm sure this one's probably similar.
Watch Gilliland talk about slugging. That's where it's going to come from, this transfer spot.
Yeah, he booted Christopher Bell, and the 20 moves to the inside of Blaney.
Blaney's in trouble. He needs to follow suit here. Follow that 20 car.
Got to find a spot in line, but Gilliland closes the spot and moves up into 5th.
Well, he moved Bell into 4th as well.
Oh!
Ryan Blaney.
Ryan Blaney just wrecked the 20 through another car, Joey Logano. Did you see that?
Well, that's not the first time we saw it today.
No.
Let me explain it. Have you ever played croquet?
Yeah.
When you hit somebody else's ball and you have to line up on it and send it, that's what Ryan Blaney just did.
The old combo shot is become a very popular move here at the Coliseum, and it's tough, right? I mean, it's do or die, right? We talked about this before when I was on. You have to make big moves to make the race, and this is a big one.
He didn't even wait for it either. No. I'm talking the next corner moved him out of the way. took care of business.
Are you guys happy to be up here in the booth, or do you wish you were in this mess?
No, I want to be. Hey, hold on a minute. That last melee that happened, we got a camera on you, and you were laughing about it. So
it was pretty funny to watch. I'd say it was a lot more enjoyable actually outside of the car.
Yesterday we said how much we would like to have the opportunity. Today, now we're like, this is a much better place to be.
It's a lot calmer, and no one's really going to get mad at you up here.
Well, let's listen to what Christopher Bell had to say.
This is fun. We're having fun. I hear you. Just get all the spots you can.
I'm not convinced.
I remember this happening in a NASCAR modified race, Battle of the Beach. Mike Stefanik out front, and he got drilled that way from the third car back, and he became an internet meme because of it. I mean,
remember that race.
Great champion of the series, but boy, that was a bad night, and it happened just like that. Of course, then it was on the last lap for all the marbles. Here, it's just to qualify.
A very similar racetrack too, very flat. And you see right here,
choose cone came into effect again.
Big.
And look where Blaney lines up now, fourth after all that.
But look who's behind him.
Oh, yeah, Christopher Bell.
He's ready to have more fun.
And Gilliland to the inside.
With the guy that just took his fun away from him last time. That's what I mean, the choose cone is becoming the best thing about this race, especially in these heat races. It gives you that guy just caused the caution, and he's right back in a transfer spot.
Do you think he knows it was the combo shot that got him, or do you think the 38 got him? That's the question.
Yes.
That's all, as you know, that's all dependent on the spotter and how good a job he did relaying the information.
Would, if it had been you, would you want to know who did that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's a dog-eat-dog world, and you got to stand your ground. That's the big part of this thing. You can't get pushed around.
Take me through real quick. Second year on this asphalt. This is a brand new facility all over again. Is there any characteristics that were different from last year?
It's very similar. I'd say the drivers are more aggressive this time. I don't think there's as much of a parts shortage.
3 laps to go.
Do you think it's the parts shortage, or do you think it's just, time is an essence now?
Todd Gilliland in the 38. He may be a marked man here. Suarez got a bump to him, trying to sneak to the inside. No room there, but Gilliland's moving up to 4th.
You can't help but watch this transfer spot, right? It's where the most intense racing is. The drivers aren't afraid that there it is to bump people out of the way.
Blaney takes it back. 1 to go.
Gillen out of the groove. One last chance for Christopher Bell. He needs to get close enough.
Suarez to the inside. Bell, is he close enough to make the bump? He is not. And Daniel Suarez comes out with the last transfer spot. Welcome back to the Los Angeles Coliseum, where we forgot to lock the door. Joey Logano wandered in, and who knows who'll show up next. And this is so much fun to watch, but was it as much fun being out there getting tattooed on both your front and rear bumper the whole race?
No, not at all. We were talking about the field is closer than ever, and everybody knows that, so the restarts become everything. And once a single file's out, it's really challenging to find an advantage enough to actually pass somebody. So it just gets very aggressive when the cars are close to each other.
Well, there was a lot of guys out there that were glad to see you make that. That provisional is still alive for somebody. Ross Chastain is in this heat race. That last heat race was wild. All it takes is one caution, Tony, and all heck breaks loose.
Yeah, we get to this restart zone. When they sit there and get to the choose, guys that are way back are getting silver platters handed to them by giving the outside lane. Nobody wants that outside lane. It's just not fast, but at the same time, when you can move up 2 or 3 rows like that, it's a big deal.
You got to take it because you don't know what turn one's going to look like. Yeah, like maybe you might be stuck on the outside, but maybe those guys get all into each other and you're able to roll and actually gain a couple spots from the choose and maintain it.
Well, the only thing we have to go off of is practice that we watched yesterday, guys. And that 24 car was bad fast. Chastain was good. Allmendinger, he was in a wreck in practice. Let's put it that way. He retaliated on somebody last night in practice. Bubba Wallace, that 23 car was extremely fast. And Ty Dillon running up the back of this thing, you know he's going to be aggressive. Or excuse me, Ty Gibbs. I knew I was going to do that.
Under green for qualifying heat number 4, Kyle Busch has joined us here in the booth. Come on up to the front row and let's see how this one unfolds.
All right, all right.
William Byron out front. Now Chastain has that provisional spot if needed as he battles A.J. Allmendinger, who was aggressive in last night's practice. Right now, 5th is Bubba Wallace, the transfer spot to the 23, going for more.
I think something we all realize, like when you go out here on cold tires, these things do not want to get off the corner. They don't want to stop really well. And you got to go. It's like you got to be aggressive, but the car is changing every corner.
551 here. Just keep protecting that bottom.
Eric Jones and Wallace had contact. Corey LaJoie trying to pounce in the 7.
Walk me through that, Joey. Which one is more important on this restart? I know they're all important, but which one can you afford not to have happen, especially on a restart? You said wheel lock up, slick in the middle, pushing up out, hard to get the throttle down.
I want all of them.
No, of course you know,
the exit,
race car drivers.
The exit's important. The entry is obviously important if you're going to try to charge it into the corner like you see Priestley right there. You got to be able to make sure your left front doesn't lock up, make sure you don't have too much rear brake in it, trying to compensate for that. But you got to exit the corner to finish the pass.
Ryan Preece in the 41 to 6th. Now he'll try to go after Wallace for the final transfer spot.
Watching these cars trying to get the car rotated, Colin, and get way down below on those rumble strips. What's that like down there?
It's pretty slick. It is a tick flatter down there. If you believe it or not, there's actually banking on the racetrack, and the flat is flat. So plus you have the rumble strips down there, which obviously takes away tire to the racetrack, and that's grip. So it's a little bit slicker down there. Guys tend to be able to kind of flow through the middle of the corner, but it's really hard to get all the way down there and still accelerate out of the turn and power up out.
Ty Gibbs catches the back of the pack. Corey LaJoie and Ryan Preece, after starting tail end and being unable to qualify yesterday to a fire in the right side of his car at the end of practice.
When we talk about how aggressive you got to be to start this race, this is kind of where it is now, where there's some passing going on, but everybody is so close in speed, it's hard to make the moves. You see Bubba Wallace just making the pass.
Wallace to 4th. That puts Eric Jones in the 43 on the bubble.
And the reason you're seeing the movement now is because finally these tires have had enough time to get heat in them. The pressures have come up correct to where you want them. Now everybody's cars are starting to settle in and get to true read of your balance.
Preece is really coming on strong. His car is coming in. He is on the bumper of Eric Jones. It won't be long.
And it's just not a fun spot to be. You're the target car. When you're running 5th, it's not good. It's not good, guys.
It's not good. Not a good feeling at all.
No, it's
Here
not,
you go.
not
You're going to see it. Oh, he slipped.
Ty Gibbs gets past LaJoie, and here's Preece to the inside of Jones. Contact out of 4.
I mean, that's really the only card you have to play if you're Eric Jones, though, right? Try to pinch him off, get him loose underneath of you, and maybe you can get him loose enough where he spins the tires, he gets the spot back.
Yeah, I mean, about the only thing that was a detriment there for the 43 was the 41 came from 5-6 car lengths back and chased him down and ran him down. So it was about inevitable with the amount of laps that are left to go.
That's
still
another
10 to go.
bad feeling.
Yeah, it's a bad feeling. You're watching that thing get closer in the mirror and you're like, this is not good. That's what I said with the 19. I was like, this is not good.
And it's not like the bigger tracks that we run on where you can move around, find a different groove,
you're not
listen to your
find,
spotter.
No, if you're going to find anything different, it's probably 2 inches different.
Yeah, if you're not fast, you're just not fast. There's not a whole bunch you can do.
Yeah.
9 laps to go, 2nd through 6th. Pretty close proximity there, though Eric Jones having trouble getting off the corner, keeping him from getting back to the 41 of Ryan Preece.
Be careful beating on the bumper of that 16. You heard me say it. He retaliated in practice last night, for crying out loud. I know that.
I had a front row seat to that action. I kind of started to see it boil, and I was like, oh, this is going to get outside the pot here in a second.
It definitely did that.
Yeah.
The car that has to go is Eric Jones in the 43. He is 1 spot away from transferring into the main event and having to run the last chance qualifier.
And this is where, if you're Ryan Preece, you're in right now, and you want to try to pass the 16, because that's 4 spots in the feature like he's going to. But if he doesn't finish it off, he's allowing Eric Jones to get back to his back bumper.
Exactly.
And it might keep him out of the big race.
But if they can stay side by side long enough and hold the 16 out, that'll allow the 43 through. So the 43 was cheering the whole time for those two to get side by side.
Just like we saw in the last 2 heat races. That's exactly the same scenario in these closing laps.
4 laps to go.
Beating on each other for that transfer spot opens the door up for somebody that was way out to make it in.
Preece moves up to 4th. Bubba Wallace takes 2nd away from Chastain.
And exactly what you guys talked about with that flat and the rumble strips. When the 41 car Preece got up to the bottom, he could not make the nose cut anymore. Made him push up, just keeps him from getting back to the gas on the exit.
So Allmendinger in the 16 is now the target. He is the bubble car with 2 to go.
Let me tell you, this Ty Gibbs is coming fast. That car came in. Don't do it too soon, though, right? You're going to have to wait.
Here we go.
He's going to try to get a 2 for here.
White flag.
Oh, slipped.
Oh, big loose.
He was trying to pull a Harvick and almost did. Last lap. Jones to the transfer spot.
Uh-oh.
Allmendinger out. Gibbs, one last chance.
Kaplow.
There's the bump.
Not enough.
Cannot run. And Jones will transfer. William Byron wires the 4th qualifying heat, leads all 25 laps. Bubba Wallace comes up for 2nd at the end. Ross Chastain 3rd. Ryan Preece races in, and Eric Jones holds down the bubble spot.